Hello everyone, thanks for joining us on News West 9. I'm Sydney Jolivet. As you know, the November 4th election is coming up, and one of the items that will be on the ballot in Midland is the seat for Midland City Council District 3. Joining me in studio is Cheston Blank, who is one of the 3 candidates that's running for this race. Thanks for making some time to talk to me today.
Thank you.
Perfect, and so let's jump right in. One of the questions that I'm sure you get all the time, you're 21 years old, and this is your second time running for Midland City Council. What would you say inspired you to say, I want to run for city council?
Well, what inspired me is that is the lack of action regarding the housing crisis and the cost of living. You know, I've been living here for most of my life, and ever since I started going to city council meetings, trying to get more involved in the city, people just don't bring it up. It's the one of the largest problems that we have, but no one wants to do anything to resolve the cost of living crisis. And it's the most simplest problem to solve. You know, if you have a lack of houses, you make it easier to build more houses. It's all you have to do, but no one wants to do it. You know, so instead of waiting around for someone else perfect to come around, you know, why not just do it yourself, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so as a younger candidate, do you think you have that ability to bring new and fresh perspectives to the city council?
Well, I'm trying to bring over a more traditional perspective, you know, how cities used to be run. You know, Midland started as a railroad city. We were the connection between El Paso and from Dallas-Fort Worth. That's why we're Midland, you know, and we developed around the railroad and walkability and cycling. You know?
Absolutely. And so you previously filed for at-large seat in 2024. What lessons would you say that you took away from that experience, and how are you approaching this campaign differently?
I'm hoping to make myself distinct from other candidates by emphasizing a more distinct platform with clear answers to specific questions. You know, like instead of saying, you know, lower taxes, I want to say how we're going to achieve it directly. You know, we can reduce the amount of taxes we need by upzoning areas that were previously parking, so we have more taxable properties, and therefore more tax revenue to the city. We don't have to increase it too much.
And so one of the points that you made is that you've been trying to go door to door more. What have some of those conversations been like with residents in District 3?
They made it clear that like how the city's restrictions have impacted their life and livelihood. They can't build what they want. You know, if they want to protect their car, they can't build a carport. If they want to set up a business, they can't in their neighborhood. And if they and they made it clear that how hard the cost of living has impacted them. And you know, one of them have commented on how we need more young people in the process in the city, and you know, they've been happy to see me going around and trying to make that happen.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And so hearing from all of the residents, or some of the residents in District 3, if elected, looking at the problems that they're bringing up to you, what would you say are the top 3 biggest challenges that you would want to address when you, if elected to City Council?
One is the housing shortage. We will lift restrictions that limit the amount of housing that we have. We are trying to focus on growing denser and within the city limits. We can allow for more gentle density by legalizing ADUs, building an ensuite in your front yard and backyard, making it possible to, developing underdeveloped areas, building on top of parking lots, and two is 3 major problems is housing, transportation, and cycling, to try more holistic approach to city planning that involves, building around transit and building around access to bikes, not just around cars,
So one thing that's really a good thing is that Midland's growing fast. But on the other side of that equation, you also have things like infrastructure and housing and roads, like you've mentioned. How would you ensure that the city keeps up with the growth while also maintaining quality of life for residents in Midland?
Well, for one, we need to get past our perpetual growth mindset. You know, like our economy is built on a very volatile asset. We need to not just grow. We need a plan for when it inevitably go bust. You know, so instead of growing outward, we need to use this as an opportunity, our growth cycles, to build up inward, so that when a downturn comes, we can sustain it. You know, what is like expanding water and infrastructure out into the outskirts of the city going to help us in a downturn when people are going to leave anyway? We need to focus on the infrastructure we already have and improve upon it.
Absolutely. And so what kind of relationship do you hope to have with residents in District 3, and how would you keep communication open if elected with that day-to-day communication or just transparency, I would say?
I hope to keep open communication with my constituents. I am available on most social media platforms. You can check my personal numbers out there. You can text me directly. And I hope to keep not just make information about the city and how to get involved, and not just the government, but other nonprofits around the city, as accessible and frequent as possible.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so just about wrapping up for us, some people might say that 21 is young for a public office. How would you respond to those who question your experience?
Well, I gotta get experience somehow, but what's important is the issues. You know, if no one else is gonna if no one else is gonna emphasize what we really need, then like who cares about like anything else?
Understood.
Yeah.
And so my last question for you is, when voters think of Cheston Blank, how do you hope you stand out about your leadership, your service, and just the campaign that you've been running?
Housing and transportation.
So you've talked about transportation a little bit. Could you expand on that a little more? Why is it such an important topic to you?
So me and many people I know rely on public transportation and other means because we can't afford vehicles. The current transportation is inadequate for, like, if you want to participate in society at the same level as everyone else. The bus only arrives every hour, and it doesn't run over on Sundays. Sometimes no one is there to work the route, so that it's cut off for the whole day, and it's not convenient, it's not frequent, it's not it
Reliable.
Yes, again.
Reliable.
It's not reliable, and what it really needs is investment from the city. And investing in public transportation, is an investment to the city. You know, if you make it more accessible, you make jobs accessible. You make it has access to jobs, employment, and commercial opportunities. You know, people need transportation, and that's what drives the economy and people moving around.
Well, I want to thank you so much for your time today, and don't forget that November 4th is Election Day. We'll be posting full interviews like this one on our website at newswest9.com, and they're also available on our YouTube channel or our streaming service 9+, which is available on Fire Stick, Roku TV, and Apple TV+. I'm Sydney Jolivet with News West 9. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.